local State Farm agent here in Manning, and also president of the Manning Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to thank all of you for coming out tonight and taking time out of your busy schedule to attend our launch party. The purpose of this launch party is to introduce to you our community, or the Manning community's new brand. What the purpose of that brand is, and then also what some of the benefits are going to be from it, and how we're going to use it going forward. I'd like to take a moment to recognize some of our special guests tonight. As I looked around the room, I think I saw 3 of our Carroll County supervisors here. If they could please stand, it was Gene Miners, Marty Danzer, and Mark Beardmore. I'd also like to recognize our branding committee. So if each of those members could please stand up. Don't be shy, I know you guys are here.
The blue shirts.
You can give, these people put in countless hours agonizing over everything that's gone into this brand, from the slogan to the artwork and pretty much everything in between. And keep in mind that all this time they put in on that was volunteer. So again, if you could give them another round of applause, I'd appreciate it. I'd also like to recognize our visionary committee who's in attendance tonight. Dylan Jones. Dylan could stand. Dylan is with Genus, which is a professional consulting firm specializing in the delivery of landscape architecture, planning, project management, public engagement, and visual design services to clients throughout the Midwest. Also, we have Lisa Burkus. Is Lisa here? Thank you, Lisa. Lisa's with Trees Forever. Excuse me, Leslie. I'm sorry. Apologize. Leslie is with Trees Forever. She serves as their field coordinator for the Central Iowa region, working with volunteers and organizations throughout that area. She currently is working with the communities of Manning, Perry, and Colo and their community visionary projects. And last but not least, from the visionary committee, we have Nate Schwartz. Nate is currently pursuing a degree in landscape architecture with a minor in sustainability at Iowa State University. He has been an intern with the Community Visionary Project for several years and is excited to create spaces for people to enjoy in each community. So thank you to you guys for attending tonight. If you've taken a moment to look through our program, you can see we have a pretty fact-filled evening here with some star-studded speakers. So our hope is that when you leave here tonight, you are as enthused and excited about Manning's new brand and what that will mean to our community as what I and the committee who have worked so hard on it is. A large part of that excitement is around the opportunity. It's like the spotlight's going on. A large part of that is the opportunity that this is going to bring to our business community as we seek to build on this branding concept, and then also build on that partnership with the Chamber of the Main Street program and the business community. So Colleen told me I only had about 2 minutes tonight to speak, and I see she's already looking at her watch. So with that, I want to turn the program over to Ron Reichel, who is the president of our Main Street Board. Well, thanks again for coming out.
I speak loudly, so I'm going to just try doing it without the microphone. If you can't hear me in the back, please just raise your hand and let me know. First of all, I want to welcome, in Texas terms, all of you all here. Thanks for coming. We've got, as Kirk said, a number of speakers tonight, local and also from out of town. In fact, we're starting out with 3 gyms who are all out of town. One first question could be, why are we here? Why do we want a brand? What will it do for us? If you look at it, Nike has a brand, Budweiser has a brand, Denver, Fort Worth, other towns in Iowa has a brand. Why do we want one? Why is it interesting to us? So our first 2 speakers will talk to that. I would like to introduce Jim Gossett, Executive Director of the Carroll Area Development Corporation. He's also a member of Manning's Betterment Foundation. Jim is a help to Manning in economic development. Also, and extremely thankful that Jim Allen from Budweiser Distributing, or as he says, Jim Budman, he's going to talk, again, as I said earlier, certainly Budweiser has a very developed brand. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So Jim and Jim, if you come up, please.
I'm going to try without the microphone as well. I've never been accused of being quiet. So in the back, again, if you can't hear, please raise your hand quick and we'll try to speak up. Jim and my role, as Ron pointed out, was to set expectations for tonight. What's the purpose of the brand? What's the benefit of the brand? And Jim and I are going to talk about that for just a moment. Now, I've been through several if not many branding exercises with communities and organizations. And I can tell you it can be a long, tedious process. I can tell you that the members of the group who develop the brand sometimes don't go home every night liking each other like they ought to. Okay? But they all do it with one thing in mind. It's to really bring the organization or the community like Manning together under a message that will resonate not only locally, but with then target audiences. And I think they're going to tell you a little bit about how they define target audiences and who we're trying to send this message to besides the local folks. But I can tell you that the branding message is all about making your community different in the minds of the people you're trying to send that message to, locally and from outside the borders of Manning, Carroll County, and even western Iowa. What makes you different? That's the first thing you gotta think about. Next is, what is the value of what makes you different to the people you're trying to talk to? Okay? So what makes you different, and what is the value of that to your target audiences? And finally, and this is the most important part, how do you center around a core message? A core message then that's concise and it has an impact. And how do you do that? Those are the purposes of a brand. Find your target audience, find what makes you different, what is the value to your target audiences, and what is that core message? Because without a core message, all you've got is in Manning's case, a very long list of great things about Manning. That core message ties all these things together, and that's what you're going to hear tonight. Now, the benefit of the brand and how that works, we're going to learn about Manning's new brand tonight. But to talk about the benefit of existing brands, we, as Ron and Kirk said, brought somebody in, Jim Allen, who knows a little bit about brands and how to market them. So, Jim, you can talk to them a little bit about the benefit of a brand.
Yeah, I'm going to use this, and you must have read my speech, so I really don't have much to say. And I want to thank the mayor. He said my 4 favorite words. The bar is open, so I like that. I'm Jim Allen, and I've been at Allen Distributing for 30 years. We've been a Budweiser wholesaler for 62. And so branding is an important part of what we do all the time. In fact, all of our suppliers do nothing but want to build a brand. And Jim hit on it. When they develop a brand, they look for their target audience, they find a taste profile, they find a niche of what they need to do in this brand, and not every brand is for everybody. So I'm going to touch on a few things that we do and a few brands we have, and one of those would be Shock Top. Now, Shock Top is not a mainstream product. Target audience is a 21 to 28-year-old, non-traditional marketing. You're not going to see it on NASCAR, you're not going to see it on Super Bowl. Now, you might see it Super Bowl. But you're not going to see broad-based advertising for a product like that, because that's not the audience that they want. They want the trendy, the discovery people that go out and discover a brand. And that can be any type of brand. It could be a soft drink, it could be a beer. So when we get information from our supplier, we get a brand profile. It's exactly that. Who the audience is, what's the taste profile, and how do we want to market that? If you take a Budweiser, for example, which is mainstream, Major League Baseball, NBA, NASCAR, college sports, big stadium marketing, big stadium signage. And it's up to us as a local distributor to carry that message through. So if there was a bass fishing contest, we wouldn't use Stella. Stella's an import brand from Belgium. You might use Stella for a bass cooking contest or a cooking show, but you're not going to use it for a fishing show or a fishing contest. You're going to use Busch Light. So the key thing about brands with us is you want to make an emotional tie. And I know you sit there and go, how do you make an emotional tie with a beer or anything else? But you want to make an emotional tie, and think of Corona. Think about Corona. They're advertising, consistent. It's a beach, it's a beach, it's a beach. And your beach could be your backyard, could be your deck, or you could go find a beach and sit on a beach. And you have that Corona and you're on vacation. So, as Jim said, some of the key things, be true to what your brand is. You know, Nike, you know when you see that swoosh, you know what Nike's all about. Nike's going to stay consistent with their message. So be true to what your brand is. Have a consistent message, and branding takes time. It takes a lot of time. Marlboro cigarettes started off as a feminine cigarette. Started off that way. And they changed that image. Put a guy on a horse, and the rest is history. So with that, you got a great concept going. But it takes time to build it. I want to congratulate you on all your work, and best of luck to you.
Jim Thompson, come up, please. Jim's from Main Street, Iowa. Jim is a true friend of Manning, and that's in capital letters. He helped us get the $50,000 challenge grant to put the apartment upstairs in downtown. He helped us get the $500,000 downtown revitalization. He was very key to both efforts, sometimes in the background, sometimes in the foreground. And as far as our branding effort, we had 2 outside consultants come in, hear more about it, and gave us the brand and provided the brand to us. Through Jim's efforts, Main Street, Iowa paid for that. That's a $15,000 to $20,000 contract for those 2 companies to come in and do what they did. So with that, I'm going to introduce Jim. Jim was part of the team, and again, 2 outside consultants and himself, who arrived at the brand for Manning. It's refreshing. He's going to explain a little bit about his experience of the process and why they thought that was right for Manning. But I want a big round of applause for Jim.
Ron is way too nice. Ron is way too nice. Manning is making this happen. Main Street, Iowa is here to assist you all. Oh, now I'm starting to talk like Ron. Oh no, that was y'all. So you all is okay. But you're making it happen. And Main Street, Iowa is about serving our 48 exclusive communities. And I'm very proud to say that Manning is one of those, meeting all those requirements. It's things like economic development through historic preservation, being true to you, being unique. It's cool though coming back and seeing the changes that are happening. This town's working together. Main Street is a volunteer-driven organization. This visioning committee, branding committee, has done a great job and has put in tons of hours. And we're very proud of the efforts they're putting forth, but it's true to Manning. So it's fun being able to provide the technical assistance and being able to point Manning down some paths to find some dollars. But don't let anybody ever tell you that anybody's doing this for you. This is Manning. As a new startup community, one of the services that we provide is technical assistance. And Ron said that we were able to provide the dollars to be able to bring the consultants to town. So what happened? We came to town and had to experience what is Manning. And we met with lots of people and a public meeting and lots of individual meetings. And I truly felt like I ate my way through Manning. We had pie at Deb's, and we went and I had chicken at Cliff's, and then we went to, which was unusual for us, ladies' night at the bowling alley. And it was cool for us because there was not a bashful person there. They did not care that we were from out of town. They were telling us also the story of Manning. And that's what your brand is. How do you sit down over a piece of pie at Deb's and say, this is why I choose to live here? This is why I want to go to school and have my kids go to school here. And we were sitting in the guest house just almost across the street from here, late at night, trying to decide what makes Manning tick and evaluate all the things we heard. And we really centered on it's refreshing. And I hope that you think so too. Because if you don't, or have any glimmer of a doubt, there are lots of other towns that aren't. And I work in some of them. And I would invite you to travel and see why this is such a special place. So I'm not real sure why refreshing would even need to be defined. Each one of you has to come up with your own definition. Whether it's one of those great meals at the bowling alley or a historic water tower rising above an Iowa horizon line, a rebuilt barn from Europe, you need to allow people to connect with It's Refreshing by discovering their own sense of Manning. What we did leave though with, and I want to share tonight in closing, is a brand statement for Manning. We are Manning, Iowa, and we are a proud, progressive community. From our cultivated rows to our brick-lined streets, we have a deep-rooted history in thinking ahead, stepping up to the plate and getting things done. And that is refreshing. We are a community that cares for one another and comfort in part of our essence. Manning is not just something to see, but something to feel. Whether watching the Wolves on a fall Friday night or rallying together to help those in need, Manning is a true community where our neighbors are our family and our handshake is our promise. And that way of life is refreshing. We are proud of our German heritage and the people that makes us today. We are a humble lot with big vision and a stubborn determination to accomplish whatever we set our minds to, whether house a 400-year-old house barn from a world away or building a community-owned hospital. And that spirit is still alive today in our 24-hour rec center, our parks, our neighborhoods, and our vibrant downtown. That way of thinking is rare today, and that is refreshing. We invite you to be our guest. Come visit, and you'll see why we say